Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you with the results show from WWE Clash of Champions 2016. Of course, this is a Monday Night Raw live exclusive pay-per-view on the WWE Network. As we are making this video, the Bears are taking one last chance at a touchdown in order to try and beat the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. The main event of this show was Seth Rollins going up against Kevin Owens for the Universal Championship. Honestly, I thought this whole show was about the point of mediocre. Nothing really happened on this show. They're building up to the point of doing Hell in a Cell, which will be in 4 weeks from now. I think Hell in a Cell is another Raw exclusive pay-per-view show. Even that show sort of seems like nothing really is going to be coming out of this. Nothing really is building up to being anything other than what is going on as of right now. No payoff from Sheamus and Cesaro. Jericho and Zayn was a good match, but doesn't really build to anything. Charlotte, with her Women's Championship win, didn't really build to anything. Even Reigns winning the United States Championship doesn't really seem like it's going anywhere. And then Kevin Owens keeping his title in the main event. Who knows really where they're really going with that. New Day beating the Club. I'm guessing that somebody else is going to be getting a tag team title shot from Raw, but does that mean that you have to turn New Day heel and go with maybe like Enzo and Kaz going after the titles? I'm not sure. It seems like the Club should have won the titles by now, so they could have gone in a different direction. Maybe did something new with New Day. Maybe gave the Club shots with Enzo and Kaz for the championships, and try to keep something fresh. But New Day, they're going to be now going on 400 days of championships. 400 days of being champion, I guess is what I was trying to say. So I don't know what this means. It is what it is. I don't know what to do. We'll just run down the whole card beginning to top. In the opener, you had Alicia Fox going up against Mia Jax. Jax was able to get a win over Fox. Fox did get some offense in during this match, but nothing that really mattered in the long run. Jax gets the big win here. She's no longer beating jobber girls. She's now beating girls on the main roster. Alicia Fox is the first victim. She'll move on to somebody else before getting into the title hunt. More than likely, probably when Charlotte drops the championship to either Sasha Banks or Bayley, seeing where that goes. New Day beat the Club when Woods hit a trombone shot to Anderson, which knocked him silly, and then a double team move was hit by Big E and Kofi Kingston. I'm guessing this is the Club's last shot at the championship, so we'll see where they move on with the New Day from here. Maybe we'll see the Rising Stars from Puerto Rico selling their timeshares and moving into the tag team title hunt. I guess they're the biggest heel tag team that I can think on Raw, unless there's going to be somebody moving over from the much bigger tag team division over on SmackDown to try and fill a hole there. We had our first championship shot for the new Cruiserweight Championship with Perkins going up against Brian Kendrick. A really good match here with TJ Perkins getting the tap-out victory using the armbar over Brian Kendrick. Once the match was over, Kendrick came to the middle, gave a congratulations to TJ Perkins, only to shake his hand and deliver a headbutt, knocking him down, and then basically making it look like Brian Kendrick is going to be staying around. Because honestly, in my mind, I thought that they brought him into the Cruiserweight division to sort of have a good match at the Cruiserweight Classic, as well as maybe have a notable name for the Cruiserweight division right at the beginning, and then probably want to be one of the first guys dropped out of there, just because of the fact that during his first match on Raw last week, they just kept on mentioning how old he was, which means they don't really want him to be around for a long time. Match 7 of the best of 7 between Sheamus and Cesaro. That match had a stoppage in it, and basically Cesaro and Sheamus were fighting on the outside. Cesaro threw Sheamus into the ring post and threw him into the barricade, delivered a clothesline, but they both went up over the top, and the referee decided to have a stoppage. I'm guessing they're probably going to be going with some sort of a concussion angle. I don't know how you make them go a month without having the number 7 match, or if it's going to be held on Monday Night Raw. But my guess is that more than likely they'll find a way to keep this going until Hell in a Cell in 4 weeks. So we'll see how the payoff comes from that. Kind of weird that you had Sheamus win 3 matches in a row, and then Cesaro win 3 from there, and then not finish it off with number 7. But the whole thing seemed mostly pretty predictable after match number 2. Jericho beat Sami Zayn in probably the best match of the night. Jericho hit a code breaker. Nothing really going on in this match other than it was a good wrestling match. It looked like Sami Zayn was going to win the match because they kept teasing the fact that he was going to hit his big kick. We never got to see it. Jericho got the win. I guess he's the best friend of today. Charlotte beat Sasha Banks and Bayley. Nothing much in the women's match. We had a match where Reigns won the United States Championship with a spear over Rusev. Had some outside interference from Lana. Lana was ejected from ringside, and then Rusev was able to lock in his accolade, but Reigns was able to power out, hit a spear out of nowhere for the 1-2-3, and Reigns is your new U.S. champ. I don't know what you're going to do with Roman Reigns, the United States champion. Maybe make him a little bit humble, and the fans sort of bring him in for the fact that I guess he's taking a back step. Kind of weird to have this guy main event WrestleMania, get the big win in the main event, have that big moment, and now here he is after SummerSlam is your United States champion. Kind of weak in my opinion, especially when there's 2 world titles in WWE as of right now, with the Universal title as well as the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And then in the main event, we had Owens versus Rollins. Chris Jericho was interfering throughout this match, throughout the whole night, being Kevin Owens' his best friend. Main story of this was Stephanie McMahon. Basically, there was a point in the match when they did a ref bump. Rollins hit a pedigree. Owens was out for at least about 20 seconds. And there was nobody to send out the referee. Later in the night, once Kevin Owens had taken the advantage in the match, Stephanie finally sent the second referee out to ringside. Highlight of the match is probably going to be Rollins jumping off the top, going through the announce table when Jericho moved Kevin Owens. And then we had the big pop-up powerbomb from Kevin Owens on Rollins, getting the 1-2-3 in the victory, as the pay-per-view ended with Jericho and Owens rejoicing their victory for the night. If you remember the early plans for Hell in the Cell, it was supposed to be Jericho, Owens, and Finn Balor in a 3-way. I don't know if Jericho and Owens were going to remain being best friends throughout that angle, or if we're going to see them turn somewhere along the way. Seth Rollins moved into Finn Balor's spot upon Finn Balor's injury, turning himself babyface. So who knows if the plan is Jericho, Owens, and Rollins for Hell in the Cell in a 3-way, and maybe Jericho will be turning on Owens somehow along the way. But from tonight, unless we have a Kevin Owens just being an idiot and just telling Jericho that he doesn't need his help at this point, because Jericho really isn't getting anything other than being the friend of Kevin Owens at this point. Even though they're bad guys, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Owens to turn down Jericho's help. It's still Owens as the champion. So I don't know. We'll see what goes down. Hell in the Cell, 4 weeks. And then whatever is the pay-per-view in 2 weeks here in SmackDown. No Mercy, I think, or something like that. We'll see. Monday Night Raw tomorrow.